The scene from high above the Tasmanian capital of Hobart and its port in Sullivan's Cove, Kings Pier Marina, where 71 of the 103 yachts that started the 2023 Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race have tied up on a glorious morning. Those of us that live in Hobart, there's never a dull moment weather-wise, and it is an absolute cracker as we come up to 4 days, 21 hours into the great race. Good morning, everybody. Peter G welcoming you to the Frank Colson Memorial Studio for our last live update for 2023. It seems an age ago since the yachts took the starting cannon on Sydney Harbour, and here we are with the majority of fleet in, but there are still some 14 at sea. The race is on now for those yachts to get in before New Year's Eve. The tail ender, Sylph 6, I think we can safely say 250 nautical miles still to go, won't be one of those, but more about this what has become very famous entry a little bit later in this telecast. Joining me in the studio, Peter Shipway, who's done this race 31 times, innumerable times. He's been on land though, and it's great to have you, shippers, as Gordon Bray calls you, the voice of this race, with us for the final highlights package for 2023, and it has been a highlight-filled race. Good morning, Pete.
Yes, good morning, Pete. Good morning, everyone. It certainly has. It's thrills and spills virtually from the get-go in Sydney Harbour, and here we are, almost wrapped up, and it's certainly been a spectacular race in every regard. Weather-wise, results-wise, throughout the fleet, there's a story for sure. The
only weather they haven't had is full-on running down the coast of eastern coast of Australia, across Bass Strait and down the east coast of Tasmania. They've had everything else.
Yes, they have, and certainly yesterday, for the boats still at sea at Tasman Island, boy, do they cop it. You know, 40 knots, gusting 50. And what a difference a day makes. I just looked at the weather report now. Out at Tasman, it's a 3-knot nor'easter. But 24 hours ago, it was a lot fresher than that.
Well, you were furiously checking the Yacht Tracker to see how your favourite yacht in the race, and I think probably the majority of people who follow the Rolex Sydney Hobart always want to know what Love and War is doing. It's a classic Sparkman Siemens design, celebrating its 50th anniversary race, and you were on board when it took handicap honours back in 1974.
I was on board in 73 for the first ever race, so 50 years ago. But it's interesting, in those days, we did the race at about the same time as Love and War's done it this year. So everyone says everyone says, gee, it's slow, but the boats have got quicker, and Love and War probably hasn't got much quicker. So
that's because you're not on board sailing it. You did give up CYCA TV, though, to sail it in the Cabbage Tree race, shakedown for this one.
Had to whip the crew into shape. I didn't do much of a job.
Well, as I say, yesterday, a real struggle for them to get around Tasman Island, and Storm Bay lived up to its name yesterday. We've got some pictures on board Love and War, Pete. This is what it feels like to race in the Rolex Sydney Hobart.
Yeah, she's plunging in towards Tasman here, and some terrific shots. And if you want to be on a boat going into 40-knot headwinds and big seas, this is the boat to be on. I was talking to some of the crew this morning. They said the seas were just mountainous, and this probably doesn't give a true indication of the size of the sea, but she's on a number 4 jib, a tiny headsail, 2 reefs in the main, and she's one of those boats you go below and you can make a cup of tea. It's so comfortable below.
We don't see any humans in these shots. They're down below now. One of them should have taken that winch handle out of there, shouldn't it?
Well, probably didn't want to get too wet. No, she's plunging away there, and Matt Tomaszewski was the photographer on board, and some more history. His grandfather was Jack Earl, one of the originators of the Sydney Hobart race in 1945. He participated in that race in 45, and here's his grandson Matt aboard Love and War.
And the Kurtz family have owned this yacht since...
Absolutely, since 1973.
Hit the water for the first time.
Yeah, and Peter Kurtz, who we lost 20-odd years ago, his son Simon now owns the boat, and Simon's son Peter's grandson Philip Kurtz was on board.
How many reefs in the main there?
Double reef mainsail there, and number 4 jib, and it looks quite comfortable from the studio. Yes. But boy, they said it was wet, it was cold, as you could see from there. But that was what they encountered getting around Tasman yesterday.
And they got in about 10:30
last night. Yeah.
So, well, it's still 14 competitors in the race to experience what the finish feels like here in Hobart. Let's go to the race tracker, Peter, and take us through what's still ahead for those still out there. Lenny, the last boat to come in, Charles Deveneaux from California and his French crew on this beautiful Beneteau 44 racer cruiser. So they've experienced the Sydney Hobart in all its glory, but there's still, as I say, a few to come in.
Yeah, well, Chow Bello will be next to go. She's only got about 4 miles. Then Mr. Lucky, the little two-hander from Queensland. Tilty at Windmills. She placed in the Hobart race 2004, I think. Then Zephyr Insurance Masters from Tasmania.
Yes, a neighbour of mine, Carl Van Drunen, doing his first Rolex Sydney Hobart in the navigator's chair. I think he might be well and truly sick of it by now.
Be a wet navigator's chair, Pete. 17 miles to go, so she's not in the river yet. Wild Oats follows up, 2-time winner. Then the little Azuro with Jessica Watson on board. They're around Tasman and across the bay. I'm a Lizard. She's in Tasman. Son of a Son's around Tasman. And then these boats are still north of Tasman Island. Flying Fish, Arctros, Hanson, Tasmania, Enigma, Allegress and Silver Fern. And there she is. Talk about the perennial favourite this year, Sylph 6, Ollie the Cat, 260 miles to go. So she's looking at the forecast. I would say she is 48 to 60 hours still away. So they'll be well into 2024 when she finishes.
Thankfully, there have been no further retirements overnight, so 18 yachts have had to retire from this year's race. 5 of those in the two-handed division, as he makes the cardinal sin of not switching off his mobile phone when he goes on live television. I'll get back to you, Jordan. That was my son ringing. 5 in the two-handed division retired, 16 of those started. Verite, the last of the two-handers to come across the line, 2 of those still at sea. There could be a new division that's being instituted into the race for next year. We'll talk about that shortly with Sylph 6. But we've got to go back, it seems like an age ago now, to the morning of the 28th, when we saw that Lion Honour's battle for the ages up the River Derwent. And it was 10 hours outside the race record, Peter, but who cares?
Who cares, yeah. It was thrilling watching. I mean, from the shore or from our cameras overhead and on the water. It was remarkable, and I think it's going to be replayed many times in the years to come.
Well, in case you missed it, here's a hero package, as we call it, of that finish between Law Connect and Andu Comanche.
Excitement is building here because this is Andu Comanche, past the Iron Pot into the Derwent River.
Certainly is dying where we are right now. There's that big cloud line over where you guys are, and I think that's really what's killing the breeze.
And they're both in shot there. You can see that Law Connect has caught up, and there's good breeze where Law Connect is between her and Andu Comanche.
There's a real slimmer of pressure, and Law Connect is in it. That's the only place that there's ripples on the water right now. So they are in that. They've halved the distance again.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
This is amazing.
Look at Law Connect. There's a puff of breeze coming to her. This is not over by a long shot.
Law Connect has been throwing a few manoeuvres in here. They seem to be accelerating out of the jibes a lot quicker.
This is cat and mouse stuff here. See the aggressive jibe that Tony Mutter's putting in on Law Connect. Got the bow down. Can Law Connect lock Andu Comanche out, or vice versa? Wow, she's taken the breeze of Andu. That's what's happened. Law Connect's done it. They've put the bow across in front of Andu. There's the finishing boy that just got to turn to starboard.
Extraordinary scenes here on the Derwent. Law Connect over the finishing line, just seconds ahead of Andu Comanche. We have seen the most incredible finish in the 78-year history of the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race.
Well, there's the owner skipper, Kristen Beck, and he said he was on an inferior boat. He has probably looked at that innumerable times, as has John Winning Jr. on Andu Comanche, and they're still wondering, how did that happen?
I think Christian will be looking at that for the next 365 days, saying, how did it happen? But it happened, and he's the winner of the Lion Honours Trophy, so they can't take that away from him now. And as we said earlier, he's been runner-up 3 times in a row, and now he's the winner. So fantastic job. And 51 seconds, that's all it took.
And so, for one of the rare occasions, that Herman winning doesn't live up to his surname on this occasion.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. So maybe the last time we've seen Andu Comanche race here, and it's tasted success so often, but silver medal this time.
Yes, yeah.
Wrap up the other results for us, because the big prize is the George Adams Tattersall Cup. The Illingworth Trophy goes to the winner on line honours, but the overall prize is the Tattersall's Cup on corrected time, and a Tasmanian winner. Very excited scenes, as you can imagine, here in the Tasmanian capital when Alive came across to win for the second time.
Indeed. We might bring these up on the screen, actually, and just go through them, if we can, just to see. There we go. Okay, so that's obviously the line honours result. Law Connect, Andu Comanche and URM. That's the top three. But now we get into the real...
But look at that. URM and Alive, they fought out the handicap honours, and they're going to finish third and fourth. That was in line honours.
Line honours, yes.
And so how far away from doing the double was Law Connect when we look at handicap?
Gee, you're putting me under pressure here. Hang on, I'll come back to you.
All right.
Okay, let's get into the meat of this now. This is the overall handicap prize for the
There we are,
Tattersall's
in
Cup.
fourth place, Law Connect.
Yeah, so Alive was first, URM Group second, and Alive won by 20 minutes on corrected time. Money Penny was third, and Law Connect was fourth. She was, rough figures here, Pete, she was about 5 hours behind Alive, so she would have had to improve her finish time by about 2.5 hours.
Okay,
so she was a long way off winning on corrected time.
Thank you, Vaucluse Boys High School. Yeah. That was very good maths on the run, mate.
I do my best. So they're the three: Alive, URM, and Money Penny. And we'll go back to that.
So they're the podium on corrected
time in the IRC. That's the Tattersall's Cup. Now we'll go to breakdown in divisions. Division 0, which was the big boats. Again, same results there: Alive, URM, and Money Penny. We'll go to Division 1, which is down to the 50-footers. A very, very good win by Smuggler. They'd be thrilled with that performance. A TP 52, beating last year's winner Celestial into second place, and Caro, this year's Fastnet race winner, and third last year overall. She was third in the division this year. Then we're getting into the smaller boats as we keep going. Division 2, MRV, launched as Margaret Rintoul 5 many years ago. Beautiful Herman Frey's 62 out of Victoria now. Very good win for this big boat. Pretty Woman, Richard Hudson from the Royal Prince Alfred Yacht Club in Sydney. And Schutzbar was third. A very popular Victorian boat. Then we go into Division 3, Patriot from Victoria, Atomic Blonde, a brand new boat, and White Noise. Division 4, now we're getting to the tiny boats. Mistral, a two-handed winner. She was first, Rockall second, Midnight Rambler, Ed Saltus third, and then the small boats, Kraken 3 first, Min River second, and Cinnamon Girl. And then we'll quickly have a look at the PHS division, which is very important for those boats that don't have a rated computer rating. Drumfire, the big boat from Sydney, 78-foot cruiser, you'd say. She was first, Mako second, and she's the culprit third. So a real good split across the fleet of all the trophy winners.
Thanks for that wrap-up, Peter. Let's go back out onto the River Derwent. And Lisa Darmanin, an Olympic and soon-to-be America's Cup sailor. It's been a great addition to our team this year. And she's out on Louisa Cay with Jimmy Berry, who he is from Sail Media in Sydney. Delights in coming down to Hobart each year with his team, with cameras on the water and on the boats, and chasing them about there in Sullivan's Cove, and one final cruise out there on the river. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Peter. And yeah, it is a nice cruise this morning, a little bit nicer than the other days we've had out here. But yeah, I'm here with James Bury from Sail Media. James, this is your third consecutive event with Hype Media, but the images that we were getting here, you had daylight, that was pretty good, and you had a couple of races on your hands, but yeah, incredible feedback from around the world. You must be pretty stoked with some of the stuff you've been capturing.
Thanks, Lise. Yeah, it's it's a pretty special place to be down here at this time of year. You know, some amazing racing. First time I had a daytime finish in I don't know how long, so that was a real treat for us. You know, cameras can pull in the dark and can actually see pretty well in the dark with our cameras and our drones. So, it's a good place to be at this time of year.
And you've got 2 cameras and a team of 4, so we've got this camera behind us. It's pretty small, so you flew this down from Sydney.
Yeah, this one flies with us everywhere. It's very portable, as you can see. We fit it to any boat, anywhere, and we've got our own purpose-built boat back in Sydney, as you know. But the idea of this one is so we're not locked to Sydney. We can fly anywhere in the world and plug this in and get beautiful stabilised images all over the place. Like, yesterday was pretty rough out there out in Storm Bay, and we're able to bring some pretty nice pictures of when I got back to the village, and that sort of stuff. It looked pretty calm out there. I was like, it was far from it. So, but yeah, it's good. It's a great place to be, and great to be able to test our gear out to its full potential.
And so you can be in one spot shooting with this camera, but then we've got the drone behind us. We can give the drone a little bit of a wave, and that can be capturing content, hundreds of metres away, if not more.
Yeah, the beauty of the drone is it gets shots that really helicopters can get, and helicopters are expensive. So this is a cheaper option, but it's for us it's some of the best drone pilots I'd chase to come and do this thing, and they're all got sailing background, which is a key feature for what we want to capture. There's no point in having someone that captures cycling or something and then bring them into the sailing world. So the guys that fly the drones for Salaman Market are some of the best in the business, and some of the shots, as you've seen, like, I don't like talking my company up, but the boys do an amazing job. So yeah, it's a pretty cool, fun thing to have, and we're straight back to Sydney for more work this afternoon. So that just shows you how portable everything is.
Well, super brave drone pilots as well, because when you see them off the front of the bowsprit, I know when I've done my sailing and I see a drone sitting off the front, you want to trust that pilot. But yeah, amazing stuff that you guys are creating. It's been an honour working with you. And I think you're probably the only person that's had to look at the tracker as much as Peter Shipway, because having to know when to deploy at the dock to get out there to the iron pod and capture those images. So thanks for everything, and thanks for having me on board.
Thanks, Lisa. Always great having you on board and part of the team. Thank you.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Jimmy Bury is very much part of the team on CYCA TV, not just this race, but all the lead-ups, and he's a man who loves his job.
Yes, absolutely. I work with him on Sundays in Sydney on the 18-footers coverage, and we're talking about drones there, and the drone operator for our 18-footer coverage each week is a guy called Dylan Clark, and Dylan was aboard Law Connect this year for the race. So he's a sailor and a drone pilot.
Okay, and as Jimmy said, you've got to know sailing really to be able to bring
Dylan
these
is
pictures.
Fantastic. Yeah. John O'Witty was doing the coverage there, but Dylan does it week in and week out. And the shots we get on the 18-footers, he's right in the cockpit. The skippers could put their finger up and touch him, but this time he was on Law Connect, which I think he's been for a few years now, and so he got the line on his prize to take home.
Well, it's one thing to have the pictures. It has to get put to air, and cutting those magnificent images back at Hype TV Central here in Hobart. Totally Hobart-owned company, and we salute the crew. Hamish, Rose, Cass, Russell, Dave, Tony and Bex, who put together all these highlight packages that have gone around the world and have just got universal praise. Great job, you lot. Come down into the open air once we finish here and sample what it feels like to be dockside, but well done. Yeah, it's a great fantastic team effort, this thing.
Yeah, terrific. And I think Gordon Bray mentioned it yesterday, and he mentioned it to me again this morning, that working with Dave Flower and all the team, he said he's been in the business 50 plus years with his rugby especially and cricket commentary with the ABC initially. He says the best team he's ever worked with, and that's a big rap.
Well, they got into action well before the race day on Boxing Day with packages and interviews with the crews, and they're taking credit for having discovered Ollie the Cat, and that is Ben Hawke, producer, and Lisa Darmanin. This has captured the imagination of yachties and non-yachties right around the world. So he's become a global sensation, Ollie the Cat, on Sylph 6. Chris Warren and owner Bob Williams are also on the boat.
You'd hardly know it, though.
You would hardly know it. We couldn't finish our 2023 final highlights package without updating you on Ollie Cat. If you don't know Ollie the Cat, if you don't know who he is, This is him on board.
The Cat's got its sea legs, you know, he's a seasoned sailor. Good to see a pet going along on a boat. In this particular instance, I don't think that Cat would like it on board the Celestial though. Far wetter sort of yacht compared to Sylph.
Now, you know Ollie pretty well.
Cats tend to be quite, you know, reserved. They don't let a lot of information slip out. They don't say much. But what I do know about Ollie is that, you know, he's comfortable on board the boat and is quite happy to sail. He does comply with the notice of race, which you have to be over 18 years of age, and Cat's age at 7 to 1. So, you know, he makes the age bracket. So he's good for that.
Now, are you going to examine him when he arrives?
I might be gone because I think Sylph's getting in about a week from now. They're quite slow, the way they like it. But yeah, no, I'll be gone, unfortunately. It's an interesting thing to, you know, meet a cat that's so many sea miles. Where's Ollie? Where's Ollie?
Oh, this is incredible. A social media sensation. And Sam Haynes, who won the race last year on Celestial, he is a vet. He's the Vice Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, and has been some criticism from some quarters that an animal is allowed to go to sea, but Vet Sam has given it the thumbs up.
They're all
so,
clear, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you could live with an animal on board, but Bob's getting the job done there. But anyway, each to his own.
Is there any truth to the rumour that the CYC is thinking of instituting a two-hander, four-pawed race for next year?
Wait and see, I think.
That might be a one-off, but Ollie will be in sometime in the new year. Peter, you don't know anything about this next package, so I'd like you just to hold fire until we've seen it. But the rapport between Gordon Bray, I'm taking his seat this morning because he's preparing for the official presentations over at the Federation Concert Hall. This is where they all get dolled up and all the silverware is handed out. There's about 3 hours worth of trophies to be presented over there, so Gordon's preparing for that. Yeah, go on, I'll let you say something.
He's just in the spray tan studio at the moment,
right,
putting
okay.
new spray tan on.
He doesn't need any, really.
Oh, no, he does.
Yeah.
He does, let me tell you.
So he's preparing for that, but the rapport between Peter Shipway and Gordon Bray has gone to new levels this year. They've worked together for over 40 years in commentary, but everyone is saying you've become the HG and Roy of sailing commentary. If you are watching us around the world and don't know who HG and Roy are, perhaps you can look on YouTube at Channel 7's coverage of the Olympic Games from Sydney 2000. Comedy gold, but I think we saw comedy sailing champagne from Gordo and Shippers.
Yeah, terrific stuff there from Lisa Darmanin. Peter Shipway would have struggled to get back on board there. I can certainly guarantee that.
Good.
Is that being unkind?
I won the under-12s breaststroke championship a couple of years ago.
I thought you might have been disqualified. Maybe a little bit of an inkling for the fish around the boat. Indeed, it is the fleet's favourite feline. Hype TV has actually put in a special request to the Lord Mayor of Hobart to give Ollie the keys of the city.
He's got a party organised upstairs at the Customs House.
I'll be the one interloper at Lindsay May's party. His wife Tanya actually slipped me an invitation. So I'll be the only person there who hasn't sailed with Lindsay May. As I look at that rainbow, Peter, I'm reminded of the great statesman Lee Kuan Yew, the former Prime Minister of Singapore, and his words to the nation: look at the horizon, follow that rainbow, and go ride it.
The two ladies we saw looking at the finish for Mistral was Rupert's mother, Jill.
80 years young.
Yeah. Well, that's the father, not Jill. Don't talk about women's age, Gordon. I've told him that. I tipped someone, or someone tipped me?
Someone tipped it to you.
No, other way round.
You tipped alive.
I got the double, as I say.
Well, why didn't you say that on air? Peter Shipway privately thought that Alive would win, but on television he told everyone that URM Group.
I want to throw them off the scent and get better odds on the line.
You wanted to get better odds, clearly. The quote of the day, and yes, I was very good at mathematics in school. Peter Shipway, Cruise Boys High. Cuisine was very good, I must say.
It was, yeah. It was very nice.
What did you have?
Had oysters and followed by scallops, so very nice, and washed down by a cheeky Pinot Noir.
Yeah, Tasmanian peanut.
Absolutely.
Of course. Do you want to borrow my glove?
No, I'm going okay.
Okay. People have been commenting how you lean forward, you know, when you're trying to read the tracker, so don't lean forward this time when you take us through the tracker. Peter, there's that game, Where's Wally? But there's a new game now, Where's Ollie? Where is Ollie on the tracker? Where is
Ollie the Cat?
6?
Oh, the cat might be steering.
Yeah. I've got to give Peter Shipway 10 out of 10. His mind is like an encyclopedia. Working your way up, Peter.
Sorry, I just had a fly land in my mouth throat.
Swallowed a frog.
Yeah, all French, just one Italian.
When we're all
Really?
Italian. Not Australian, not a New Zealander, no one.
Why, what? Australian, New Zealand? God, no way.
He's still drinking our Aussie beer, though, isn't he? Cascade Pale Ale. Come on, Eric. There you go. There's suck of the sauce bottle, mate.
Very popular figure. My fingers are getting tired, Gordon. It's been a long week. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
The brain's starting to go into
Fade.
reverse.
Fade.
Reverse, just like your fingers with the tracker. But well, there's a couple of viewers who've offered to provide a pair of glasses for you too, which is
Just bring the screens class. I'll be bothered.
spoken too long. We've mumbled too long. We've dribbled too long.
Had a fly on my throat too.
I thought you'd swallowed the whole pond, actually. Yeah.
Well, that was a stitch up and a half.
Yeah.
Thanks for nothing.
Oh, come on, you were laughing.
Yeah, it was very good. Very good.
What do you put it down to? The camaraderie that's developed and the on-air chemistry between you and Gordon?
I just feel comfortable. Same with you, Pete. I mean, knowing you a long while, haven't worked that much with you, of course, but you just put us at ease, really. It flows very smoothly. Dave Flower runs the show brilliantly, and we've just got to gibber away and make a few things up if we don't know.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take long for you, though, with that encyclopedic brain about sailing. My sister's been watching from Colorado. She said, that bloke knows every person who's in the race.
Well, look, I've sailed the race, and ever since I was a young fellow growing up on the shores of Sydney Harbour, I've really had a passion for the Sydney Hobart race, and it's just flowed on from there. And each year the passion is revived about 3 months out, and we just keep going, and hopefully we can bring a bit of enjoyment and a few facts and figures to the people that are watching.
And I think it comes across that every year you love coming south either by sea or by air to Hobart Lipaluna. I need to get that right. Nipaluna to just take all this in.
Nipaluna, what's that?
That's the Aboriginal name of Tasmania.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I do apologise.
So I'm glad that we're.
I do apologise.
I'm glad that we're actually extending your knowledge about this
Nipaluna,
great.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice to be in Nipaluna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under Kunanyi, Mount Wellington.
Okay. Too much information.
Well, Lisa Darmanon's come down this year, and as well as getting out on the water, she's experienced the delights of the docks at this time of year with the taste of summer yesterday. And in the morning, she took a trip along the famous Salaman Strip. It's the Saturday weekly market, a world famous market, and she took it all in and might have spent a bit of money as well.
So I took the opportunity while there's a bit of a pause between yachts coming in to come on down and check out the world famous Salaman markets here in Hobart. It's absolutely buzzing at the moment. There's hundreds of stalls, plenty of people around, tourists and locals. So let's go and have a bit of a look.
Okay, I must say that Lisa looked very fetching in that smitten all-wool fedora hat. Lisa, did you hand over your readies and go away with a souvenir from Salaman Market?
Not this time. I actually got a hat for Christmas, so I couldn't have two, but it was amazing to see, and it's been an absolute pleasure coming down to Hobart and exploring the town, but also seeing this race in full. I've always watched it on the tracker, on the telly, but it's been amazing to be part of it. Obviously, from doing that start with Comanche to working with you guys and covering that amazing finish. I think for me, obviously, I've been all in that Olympic world for a decade, and now to see that yachting world, see the camaraderie and how everyone races so hard but really is so friendly on shore. We are friends in the Olympic world, but it's a little bit more relaxed here in the yachting, but it's been amazing, and it's been a joy to cover it with you guys and the team, and to meet some of the great people in our sport.
Well, you've won an Olympic silver medal. Is there a chance now that you might do that again, or are you shifting focus?
I'm shifting focus, so I hung up my Olympic boots, and I'm putting on my America's Cup. I don't know, I'm sitting in a chair, so it's going to be quite relaxing compared to an ACRA 17. But yeah, so the inaugural Women's America's Cup is next October, the same time as the traditional America's Cup in Barcelona. So we have an Australian entry, which is absolutely fabulous. We've got 2 fleets, so there's going to be 12 national teams, 2 fleets. The winner of each fleet goes into a match race. So Australia will be going hard. We're training hard in a simulator at the moment, and we'll be giving it our all to bring the first Women's America's Cup trophy home for Australia.
Okay, let's us win it for the first time and keep it for 130 odd years.
Well, the simulator that Lisa's talking about is situated in Sydney. It's at Herman Winning's offices in inner Sydney, and
he's one of the patrons with
John
Bertrand,
with JB, and I'm going to try out on the simulator, Pete, in mid-January. There you go. How's that?
Lisa, did you hear that? Would you let Peter Shipway aboard the simulator? He might wreck it.
I think it'll be okay. As long as I'm trimming for him and he listens to me, I think that we could get the thing around the track.
Well, we've got Herman's father and myself, and we're going to have a go at it.
Have you ever done virtual yacht racing?
No. So if we're successful,
it's absolutely, yeah.
Bertrand said we may have a go at the America's Cup.
Yeah, Lisa, please put a stop to this if you can.
Well, I'll have to report back to see how he goes, but the simulator is incredible. We can race boats around the world, so you all log in, so you can race people in Spain, Canada, the Netherlands. We all log on and we do an actual race. It's virtual umpires, so you get penalties if you hit those boundaries or do a port starboard, and it's an incredible tool to train, especially when it's a multi-million-dollar boat, and if you capsize, instead of having to haul it back up, you just say start, reset, and you're up and foiling again. So it's a little bit easier to learn than traditional sailing, but apparently it's about 80% accurate. But we can't wait to get our hands on a boat. I think budget is the push at the moment, but yeah, we're doing everything we can to get sailing and we've got an amazing team, and yeah, for now it's video game sailing, which is quite nice, but nothing beats being out on the water.
Okay, so you'll be actually doing it for real in October. Lisa Darman, it's been wonderful to have you as part of our commentary team this year. We hope to have you back with us in 2024.
Thanks for having me. Me too.
Louisa Darman, and we hope to welcome her back this time next year as an inaugural America's Cup women's gold medalist.
Yep. Highly credentialed, all of the girls there, so they're in with a real red-hot shot, I would say.
Yeah, because it's uncharted territory for the women in the, what do they call, AC40s.
AC40s, yeah.
So the wonderful Grand Prix racing. So great work from Lisa aboard K. Louisa for the last week or so. This sort of event doesn't happen without wonderful support from far and wide. It's administered the race by the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia with a lot of corporate partners, and the major race sponsor, of course, is Rolex. We think we should acknowledge them now. So the Rolex Sydney Hobart Yacht Race, wonderful support from the City of Hobart, even though I have got 3 parking tickets out of my stay down here on the dock, so there they are to prove it. But thank you to, there we are, I'm just not making that up, but I've been assured by Dave Hislop, who's the Communications and Marketing Manager for the CYC, that they'll be expunged. So I hope that continues for the next 365 days, and I can continue to park anywhere in this wonderful city. It's
well, you're well
it gives
known
you a
here,
sense
Pete.
of freedom.
Don't
actually.
you know who I am? Sort of.
But it is a bit disconcerting when you come back and find that sticker underneath your.
As Gordon said yesterday, you're Tasmanian television royalty.
Yeah,
here.
but it doesn't count when the City of Hobart are trying to get a bit of revenue. So, but anyway, thank you to all our corporate sponsors of the race, and the finishing yacht club is the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania, and the work that they do in leading every boat in around the Taste of Summer with the inflatables and out there on the water. I'd like to thank especially Ollie, Hugo and Michael Vincent from the RYCT, who piloted the ribs, as they call them, the hard-bottom inflatable boat, to get us some great pictures and be close to the action for the finishers. And Michael Vincent's son Tim was on board the New Caledonian Sydney 38 eye candy that came in yesterday with a ripped mainsail. There'll be a lot of stories about how tough it was out there. Peter, how would you like to categorise this year's race as we wrap up for 2023?
Well, the old saying, the Hobart race never lets you down. There's always something that throws at you. And this looked a typical, hard, tough, tricky Hobart race. Probably a bit trickier than many in the past because of the weather. It was hard to get a take on the weather even on Boxing Day of which route boats should take. But I think the performance of Alive to win this race for the second time, absolutely outstanding. Bad luck for URM, close but not close enough. Those two boats, and along with Moneypenny, the top three, put an outstanding performance in to be top of the leaderboard. And Law Connect, that victory, against all the odds really. She was not the favourite. She was miles behind entering the river, and then the river delivered the goods for Law Connect, but in a thrilling finish. So disappointment there for Andu Comanche, but for Law Connect, a great thrill. And also, let's not forget all the boats that finished. I mean, to be congratulated to get here. Disappointment for those that didn't. I think we've had a number of retirements, 18 retirements. They'll all be disappointed, some on the first day, some as late as yesterday. Always disappointing when you don't get across the finishing line. But for all those that started, really, I mean, it's been an adventure, an exciting adventure, a tough adventure. The two-handers have got to be congratulated. Mistral and Kraken, to name two that have performed outstandingly well, and to be in the top 10 on corrected time just says what a performance those two little boats put in. But to Alive, Law Connect, I think all the honours go to those boats. But in the other divisional winners and the divisional place getters, well done. To everyone that's been associated with the race, the organisation from Sydney and Hobart, it really starts now again for next year. Massive amount of organisation, and the volunteers. They've put in a huge amount of work to make this race a success. And so we're, 51 weeks away from next year's race.
Okay,
so let's get into it.
Countdown's on, isn't it?
So congratulations to all the competitors, but especially the place getters. Well deserved, and I think a lot of them, most of them, will be back next year.
Okay. Remiss of me not to mention Arthur Lane, the Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. He's putting on his finest in preparation for the presentations over at the Federation Concert Hall, just across the road here from Kings Pier Marina. Richard Bevan, the Commodore of the Royal Yacht Club of Tasmania. He won't have Tracy Matthews to help him today at the presentations because Tracy's sitting home with COVID. She's done all the hard yards in the lead up, but sitting home and watching our broadcast from the docks.
We wish her well. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it, everybody, as far as CYCA TV is concerned for 23 going into 24. If you've missed any of the action, then you can go to the Rolex Sydney Hobart .com website, where all the packages and the race highlights will be there for eternity, really, for you to go back and relive. So, and a lot of the yachties that are coming ashore are doing that right now. So we hope you've enjoyed our coverage here on behalf of Gordon Bray and Peter Shipway. Shippers, look forward to having you back with us next year.
Yeah, terrific, Pete. Thank you. And thank to Gordon and yourself and Dave Flower and the team. Fantastic effort. Been a real joy to be here. And we've had a bit of fun, and we've told a few truthful stories,
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Yeah, no porkies here in the Frank Colson Memorial Studio. Here's to you, Frank. You're a great smiling part of our team up until this past year when we sadly lost you, but I'm sure you were here with us in spirit this year, and to your family too. I think a little bit of pride you can take in the contribution that he made in making this such an enjoyable and a friendly place to be involved, and I think that's gone across to wherever you've been watching around the world, and thank you for your kind comments on our coverage for the last 5 days. So
Happy New Year.
Yeah, we're going to say goodbye on New Year. So from the Rolex Sydney Hobart for 2023, it's goodbye for the last time. A very happy 2024 to you wherever you're watching around the world. Goodbye.
Welcome to Sydney Harbour for one of the great days on the Australian sporting calendar, the 78th edition of the Rolex Sydney Hobart, and it is a magnificent day on the harbour.
Away they go in the 78th Rolex Sydney Hobart, the great race south.
This is going to be interesting when these two boats converge. Scallywag and Law Connect, who's in front? What's going on Law Connect? Both pencils are flapping there.
That's close. Just watch, this is how they removed themselves from Comanche a short time ago.
This is Andu Comanche, past the Iron Pot. And where is Law Connect?
This is unbelievable. Look at Law Connect. There's a puff of breeze coming to her.
They seem to be accelerating out of the dives a lot quicker.
Wow, she's taken the breeze of Andu. That's what's happened. Law Connect's done it. They've put the bow cross in front of Andu.
Law Connect over the finishing line, just seconds ahead of Andu Comanche. And it looks as though it's down to URM and Alive who are going to really fight out this handicap situation.
Hit a stubbed a toe there. She's run out of wind. Oh, here's Alive. Okay, here she comes. She is powering up the river. Massive speed difference.
URM just have to sit there and watch the clock.
Well, they're pretty close to the finishing line.
Yeah, but look, there's no breeze. It's just quit. It's just collapsed. Yeah, this is a cruel race, isn't it?
The second time after being successful in 2018. Alive, the Tasmanian boat has done it again.
Meet a cat that's so many sea miles. Where's Ollie? Where's Ollie?
Hello, Mum. Thanks for your perpetual interest and support.
A lot of respect for all the teams. We've all been through the same pain.
You have our absolute admiration, and how proud I am, particularly today, being involved in presenting the Tattersalls Cup to a wonderful Tasmanian connection.